Greetings, grace and peace to you. My name is Wayne Lavender. I'm the Executive Director of the Foundation for Orphans. I'm here with my wife, Maureen, and there's about a dozen guests over here. My son, Aaron, my son, Andrew, was here earlier, my grandson, other people from Faith United Methodist Church and friends and clergy. We're so happy to have you with us for our first ever Father's Day and Summer Solstice Cyberthon. We're broadcasting here live from what we call Lavender Leap, which is this property in Hamden, Connecticut that we bought last year. It was a leap year, as you may remember, and we took a leap. Me leaving my church job with salary and pension and health care to really move more full-time with the Foundation for Orphans. We're glad you're watching and excited to be a part of this. Let your light shine. Today is the longest day of the year, the summer solstice, and Father's Day. The two don't usually fall together, but they happen from time to time, and so this is a chance for us to talk for about an hour about the Foundation for Orphans and our work and what we've done. The district superintendent will be calling in just a minute, and we'll get greetings from him as well. If you've been to any of my presentations, chances are you've heard me tell this story. I tell it often because it's such a good story, and it's a true story, and it took place in 2007. Just to set the stage for some of you, maybe younger viewers who may not remember, but 2007, the wars the United States were fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq were not going well. And it was a time of concern how we were going to bring those wars to an end peacefully and stop American soldiers being killed. So I got on an airplane and I was flying from New York to Atlanta, and I sat down next to a woman I'd never met before, and we were introducing ourselves and talking about where we were going. And then she said to me, "What do you do for a living?" And that's a very existential question. It has to do with our identity. And I was kind of in transition at the time. I was a United Methodist pastor. I'd been a United pastor since 1984, but I wasn't serving a church at the time. I was still a pastor. I had written my first book, so I could have told her I was a pastor. I was an author. I was speaking up and down the East Coast. I had established a nonprofit. All of these things I could have told her. I'd gone back to school, right? So I could have told her I was a student, but I was almost 50 years old. I didn't want to say I was a student. So just in a moment, in a flash, I thought of something I never said to anybody before. I said, "I'm a peacemaker." And she looked me right between the eyes. And she said to me, "You're not doing a very good job of it." And I know she meant that to be funny, and it was funny. We both laughed. And then I read my book, she read her book. We got to Atlanta, we said goodbye. She went this way, I went that way. I've never seen her again, 14 years ago. But I kind of wish I could see her again now and tell her about the Foundation for Orphans, because I believe we're a peace-building organization. We work to bring peace between different people who seem always to be arguing and disagreeing and fighting. We bring peace even within the United Methodist Church, because yes, believe it or not, we often fight. And between Christians within the Christian denominations, between Catholics, Protestants, because 30 different times the Bible tells us to care for orphans. And we need to bring peace between different branches of Christianity and between Christians and Muslims, because 22 times the Quran tells its followers to care for orphans. 22 times, and the Prophet himself, Muhammad, blessings be upon his name, was an orphan. And so he knew what it was like to be an orphan, and I think that's why the Quran tells us so many times to care for orphans. And most of the times the Bible tells us to care for orphans are in what we call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures. So Christians, Muslims, and Jews should be taking care of orphans. And when we do that, we don't need to fight over other issues. You come with me to work with orphans for 8 or 10 or 12 hours, and I guarantee you at the end of the day we won't be fighting over politics. We won't be talking and fighting over religion. We'll be focused on what's really important, which is orphans and their lives and their futures. And so we're a peace-building organization. And this works for atheists and agnostics as well. Why? Because caring for children is the right thing to do. And it helps bring peace and justice to a world sorely in need of these issues. So if you've seen my presentations, you've seen my slides, I often show this picture of myself with a little boy in Iraq. You know, I taught in Iraq from 2011 to 2013. I was working at a university as a visiting professor, and we established a chapter of the Foundation for Orphans there. And this little boy, I've been with him for half an hour, and we had played together and we're having a meal together. And he said to me, he said, "Will you be my father?" And that is such a difficult and emotional question. And I told him I'd be his friend. So that was in 2013. I haven't seen him since, but I think of that boy often. And I think about how on this Father's Day, we're being called to be fathers to these children, aren't we? This is an opportunity for us to reach out to boys and girls around the world who don't have a mother or a father. This is our chance to be their parents. So on this Father's Day, on this longest day of the year, we're asking and inviting you to be our donors, to contribute to help make a better world and a better life for these kids. So what you donate today will help build a better future for these kids. So one of my other children, Adam, can't be here today. He's a national park ranger in Canyonlands out in Utah. And you probably all know there's been a terrible heat wave out west striking the southwest part of the United States. It's been hot here the last couple of days, but nothing like out there. So he went on a search and rescue on Friday, just 2 days ago. They got a phone call. He raced out there, helicopter, all the rangers showed up. 22-year-old Marine with his friend, taking a week off to go hiking in Canyonlands, died of heat stroke. 22 years old. So my son got there and had to bundle his body up and prepare him to get on the helicopter and deal with the aftermath. Can you imagine telling his parents the sad news? 22-year-old dying from heat stroke, healthy Marine. But on this day, on every day, 16,500 children die around the world from extreme poverty. These are statistics that we should never have to talk about anymore. These are from preventable diseases. So I have this sense of urgency about me. So many people say, I'll donate to you when I can or when I have the resources. We are so grateful for the people who give $1. $1 makes a difference. For the people who carried us in our early years when we were getting donations at $10 and $25 and $50, $100, all those gifts kept us going. And those gifts continue to keep us going. But I believe there's somebody watching right now, somebody who can make a substantial donation. We are grateful for the small donations and the big donations. But as you watch this video, I'm hoping you can think about what you can do to donate today to make a better future for these kids, to be a father, to be a mother for some child who right now has no parents. Our district superintendent, hello, here he is. Timing is perfect. So here's our district superintendent, Alfred. So I've asked her to bring us greetings. Grace and peace to you, my brother. You're live on our Cyberthon.
Well, grace and peace to you, Reverend Lavender. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm glad to hear your voice. I wish you could be with us, but I know it's Father's Day and you're with your family right now.
I'm thankful that you would allow us pass on this moment. I would have wanted to be there with you, simply to celebrate you and this great initiative. I have been sort of tracking you and what you have been doing for Mozambique and these wonderful children. I had to come in today just to celebrate you and to wish you well. And certainly for those that are listening in, to encourage them to give into this. I think this is what you call fertile soil. You are incredible. You are committed. You're authentic in terms of your commitment to this initiative. From the day that I've known you, Rev, you speak this. It's part of your DNA. I've seen it in your writing. I hear it every time we engage in a conversation. And certainly you believe that the world could be changed if we take care of orphans. Your life and your child and those that you touch, it reveals the depth of your commitment. And I just had to come in today to say to you, I celebrate you. I am going to be praying for you through this Cyberthon, that God will touch the hearts of the people that are calling in, that they would give into this initiative. And certainly, apart from giving financially, they will be praying that God is going to open the door and unleash a flood of good blessings so that you can build these houses that you're projecting you would be building, all to the glory of God, but certainly to support these children and, in your own words, to change the world. This is my prayer for you. I also want to commit, and this is from me to you, $250 for this initiative. I know we have done more. I wish if I had enough to maybe give you $50,000. So I've talked a lot.
Well,
get my excitement.
Thank you so much, brother, for your donations, for your time. Next time we speak, it'll be 50,000 because I know God is blessing you abundantly too. But we're so happy to have you participate in this way. And I will follow up with you in the coming days and see you soon, I hope, my friend.
Absolutely. And I just hope folks that are listening in that they feel so moved. Every penny counts. And if there is a man that speaks a word and living into it, Rev, you are that man. I really respect you for your commitment. For every word that you speak, for every part of yourself that you commit to this initiative, that God will expand your borders and return it to you maybe 60, 100 fold, all to His glory. This is my prayer for you. In Jesus' name. Together we say amen.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, Alfred. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was unexpected and nice, wasn't it? And just to clarify with the tech team, we're running a little over because our district superintendent called, but that was a nice word from him. So my wife, Maureen, who loves to speak publicly and has done this for all her life and is really good at this, she and I have been talking recently. So she's a mother, so it's Father's Day, but Mother's Day was just a month ago. And we were talking about your kids and our kids and raising them. So do you want to share some thoughts with us?
Well, I often think as a parent, you know, the things that my children grew up with that you take for granted. Waking up in the morning and coming downstairs and, hey, Mom, what's for breakfast? Well, what do you want? Do you want eggs? Do you want pancakes? Do you want cereal? You know, going to bed at night, what story do you want to read, or 2 or 3? And tucking them in bed at night. And after I tucked them in, reading stories, I would go in and check on them and look at them, and, you know, snuggled in their little pajamas, all cuddled in their nice warm quilts, and their tummies all full. And I was satisfied as a mother that, you know, the children were happy and had all that they needed. And when I think of these children out in Mozambique and wherever, they wake up on the side of a road with the clothes that they've had on for months. There is breakfast, or maybe not. Whatever they find. They have no one that tucks them in at night, no story at night. And I felt blessed that my children could have these things. And for no fault of their own, these children were born into a different circumstance. So I'm hoping that through you can change this for these children. That's my hope, that you can give generously to help so that these children can wake up in a warm and loving home with food, with the nourishment, with the encouragement, with the emotional support that your children grew up with as a parent. These are the things that I think of and hope for these children. So,
And the audience says, amen, huh?
so
Future Executive Director of the Foundation for Orphans here. So this is a Cyberthon. That means we're doing electronically. We had a phone call already. We now have video of the Foundation for Orphans president, Joe Varner. He's in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So while the frogs and crickets are getting louder, we'll see if the technology works for our video of Joe Varner.
Hello, my name's Joe Varner, and I get to serve as the pastor of Thalia United Methodist Church. My wife Morgan and I, we've got 2 kids, Mila and Molly. Mila's 4, and Molly will be 2 in September. I want to tell you a little bit about why the work of Foundation for Orphans is so important to me, to my family, and my church. 5 years ago, a member of our church named Richard heard about this guy named Wayne Lavender, a pastor in the United Methodist Church, who was walking across the country to raise awareness to the problems that 150 million orphans face every day. He was on his way to General Conference. And that began a time in our church where we started to pray, to dream, and to think about ways that we could help. And so finally this year, we've committed to raising $125,000 to build the home for children in Songo, Mozambique. But why is this work important to me personally? Over a year ago, my daughter Mila, who's 4 now, started to pray for the babies who don't have mommies and daddies. Last November, out of the blue, we're just driving to Walmart. It's in the middle of the pandemic and we've got our face masks on, but on the drive to Walmart, she starts to dream about taking a plane ride somewhere. She had seen a jet in the sky. And she said, Daddy, I want to take a plane somewhere. And I said, okay, where do you want to go? Somewhere with a zoo. Okay, we can go somewhere with a zoo. And a beach. We need to go to somewhere with a zoo and a beach. Okay, we'll go when it's safe. But then you could see the wheels in her mind begin to turn. And she remembered in that moment the babies who don't have mommies or daddies. She said, Daddy, what about the babies who don't have mommies and daddies? She said, some of them are Molly's age and they can't hold the bottle by themselves. We should go and feed them. Okay, Mila, after you turn 5, we'll go and we'll feed the babies who don't have mommies and daddies. You know, children have a way of stirring something in us. Jesus said that if we don't have faith like a child, we can't enter into His kingdom. And I don't know about you, but I would really like to have faith like my child. Believing that we can actually do something to help even one kid who doesn't have a mom or a dad.
And we're back, and we hope you enjoyed that video from Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. We're thinking about you and your family and your friends and your church members in Virginia Beach. So now I'm with Ruth Warfield. Ruth has been a friend for 5 years. She's a member of the Faith United Methodist Church in North Haven and one of our generous donors. And so Ruth, I thought I'd just ask you a couple questions. We're glad you're here. So why do you support the Foundation for Orphans? Can you tell us that?
Well, when I read your book, I was absolutely shocked at how many orphans there were in the world, how many children were dying in poverty. As a teacher during my career, I've probably taught and nurtured over 800 children. And the thought that there are children who wake up with, as Maureen said, no one to care for them and not knowing where the next meal is coming from. children need the nurturing, they need the support to develop into peaceful human beings. They have to feel loved and wanted and cared for. And so I kind of see Foundation for Orphans as kind of a ripple effect. By changing one person's life, that person changes others, and that person changes others, and as it continues. And I like the model that Foundation for Orphans has, where you build the orphanage in cooperation with local churches or communities, and then they take over the running of the orphanage. And that way you can affect more children. So that's why I support Foundation for Orphans. And I think it's one piece in helping to make this world a better place for everyone.
And goodness knows there's lots of charities, right? So you could be giving to lots of different organizations. And I think you do give to other organizations. Do you want to share more about your background, your faith commitment, the connection between this and that, or?
I don't really know what to say. I've always been involved in charity work of one kind or another. I grew up in the church. It was just what people did. I never knew there was anything else.
Well, I guess your mission trips. Tell about your mission trips.
I'm a project leader for Church of the Brethren's Disaster Ministries, which I bumped into thanks to someone at Faith United Methodist Church that invited me on a mission trip. I knew that was what I was supposed to do for my life's work. And so prior to COVID, I was going out 4 months of the year. I've been all over the United States. I've been in kind of mission withdrawal because of COVID, and I'm really looking forward to getting back out in September.
So you are exactly what I talk about in Pure Religion. You work domestically and you help us internationally. So we talk about both global and local, using the word glocal. So you work with Americans, right? And you help us work with children around the world. So I thank you for your support and for being here tonight and for participating in the Cyberthon.
And thank you for allowing me to be part of your project.
Oh, it's our pleasure, our pleasure. All right, so we've got another video right now. This is board member Carmen Prentice, who's recently moved to Florida. You'll see her with her children sharing their good news to us.
Hello everyone, my name's Carmen. I'm a board member for the Foundation for Orphans. I just wanted to share a little bit with you tonight the reason why I believe in the Foundation for Orphans and why I joined the board. As you can see, I'm a mom. I have 3 small children, and one of my favorite things about being a parent is seeing my children grow and develop. And one of the privileges that they have is they have this, the warm, safe, loving home that they get to, a place where they could just be children. They just get to be kids. They get to run and play and climb and jump, and they don't have to deal with any of the burdens of wondering where they're going to sleep at night or wondering where their next meal is going to come from. And that is so valuable. It's so valuable to all children of the world. And the reality of it is not all children have access to that. Not all children of our world are allowed to just be children. They are burdened with things like where are they going to rest their head, and what are they going to have to eat for dinner, and who is going to look after them and keep them safe. That's something that it breaks my heart to know that not all children in the world have that. And I know Foundation for Orphans is working hard to help make spaces for kids to call home. And that's why I believe so much in this organization. I've seen firsthand how hard they are working to care for the orphans of our world, to really be a loving and supportive family for those vulnerable children. And I support it with my whole heart. And I love the Foundation for Orphans, and I love the children that we are working to help. And I so appreciate everybody who is involved. And just thank you for being here tonight. And I pray that if you feel called, that you would to donate to our cause so that we can help more of the children of our world have a safe, warm place that they can grow and develop. Thank you for being here.
And we're back. How are we doing? Still watching out there? We're glad you are. It's getting dark here on the longest day of the year, but we still have plenty of sunshine and plenty of light. And I'm now with Reverend Tom Venkus and Reverend Wendy Venkus. I've known Tom for over 40 years, since my freshman year at Drew University, where he was my resident director. And we're not going to talk about that tonight, because that's a
separate fundraiser.
That would be a different kind of event, wouldn't it?
It would be a different event.
And it would involve some adult beverages, I think. But we'll talk more about their work and their mission. Tom has been the mission coordinator for the New York Annual Conference. I first went to Mozambique in 1998. That changed my life. I don't know why. I'd read and heard about extreme poverty, seen it on TV. But there's something about going there that changed my life. I'll never forget what I saw that first year. You went in 1999, the very next year.
Yeah.
So you've told me it changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me how that changed your life, Tom.
Yeah, and I don't know how we even got there. I think we were reading a conference newsletter.
The Vision.
And the Vision, and there was something about going to Mozambique, and one of our students said to us, it was for 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks. One of our students said, "Can we go?" And she knew that her parents would not go, but so she asked us. And we had done disaster work, but nothing internationally in terms of mission. So we decided to go, and it was life transforming for us. And we just came back as different people, and. We sat with that for a while. Then a couple of years later, a friend of ours asked us to go to Haiti. A fellow who I'd met with into doing disaster work at the World Trade Center asked us to go to Haiti, and so we went there in 2002, and that started a life like you with Mozambique. It started a lifelong passion and connection with Haiti and the people of Haiti. So we've worked in Haiti as short-term volunteers for 19 years now, but also we were in Haiti during the 2010 earthquake, and then I was asked to go back and oversee the United Methodist recovery efforts. So I spent 3 years there. Wendy finished out our church commitment and then came down. She'd been going back and forth, but came down for the last year. So we were down, I was down, we were down, say, from 2010 to 2013. And I think what attracts us to the Foundation for Orphans is the friendship that we've had, and our careers have and our friendship has sort of gone, we've been connected, then apart, then connected, and more recently have been got back together around this. But I think it's really the idea of working with the vulnerable, and the passion that you have for working with children and those who are most vulnerable, children and orphans and widows. And we started reading your books, and that just confirmed in us a desire to partner with the Foundation for Orphans and to work with you in particular. And obviously you, Maureen, Wendy and I now have a close friendship. But it's about working with the most vulnerable. In Haiti, there's a practice called reste avec, and a reste avec it comes from the French words rester avec, to stay with, and it's a practice in which poor parents will give up their children to wealthier persons, families, in the hope and expectation that those children will be given an education, they'll be cared for, there'll be all the things that they may not be able to, those parents may not be able to provide, they will be given by these new parents. And very often what happens in that situation, though, is they become basically domestic labor, and in some cases it involves abuse as well. Yeah. And so just working with children, and our work in Haiti is working in a community with families in order to be able to help them be able to provide for their children, the most vulnerable. But in Haiti, we also see a lot of street children, and many of them are reste avec, who are forced to work and beg for families. So the idea of working with you and the foundation for children has become part of our mission as well. Yeah.
And I would just add, thank you so much for your love of children. I also have a deep love of children. And before I was a pastor, I was a teacher of children with special needs, autistic children with severe behavioral disorders for many years. And I learned when I went to that school, they said, you're going to have to do takedown procedures on these children because they will come after you. Never once, because I treated those children with love and respect and found out what was healing for them and what they felt comfortable doing. And it taught me a lot about children. I love children. I've always been the Sunday school superintendent or whatever. But I want to say thank you to you, Wayne, for your love of children also, and for all that you're doing in Mozambique. That was a wonderful experience for us and our son when we came there. And I just want to thank you for all that you've done for children around the world. I think it's just been a blessing, and I'm so thankful that you've included us as part of this.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Tom and Wendy for being here, and just say this: it's not me. I can only do what I do from donations, from the love and support we're getting from all of you viewers and all of you who've been part of our ministry for these last 5+ years. We thank you and continue to invite you to look into the mirror and into your soul and see what you can do today to help children for tomorrow. One of the greatest blessings of my life is the incredible people I've been able to meet and rub shoulders with for the last 10 years. I've met presidents of foreign nations. I've met the coolest people. And one who couldn't be here tonight, but who's joining our orbit and hopes to be with us in our next Cyberthon, was a winner of The Voice Season 2. J.P. Paul, Jeremiah, or Jermaine. He uses all these names. J.P., Jeremiah, I think, is his church name, and Jermaine is his public name as a singer. He's going to be in Hamden Plains United Methodist Church, 5 miles down the road. Wants to come to Mozambique, wants to be here and sing. Anyway, this is his performance, Season 2 of The Voice, when he sang, I Believe I Can Fly. Let's spend a few minutes watching that. And we're back again, and welcome back, and we're really happy to have you watching and participating in this Cyberthon wherever you are across the United States and across the world. Someone just said I haven't even mentioned how you can give, and it's easy. You can find us on the web under Foundation for Orphans, under F4O. If you go there, you'll find ways to give through PayPal or through your credit card. You can send a check. We accept donations from Venmo, all kinds of ways. Call me, my phone number is there. Call, text, anyway. We also do receive stock now. And if any of you own stock, you know that if your stock appreciates through the years, there's tremendous tax benefits from giving stock. So if you have stock and you want to make a donation, reach out to me and we'll tell you how to do that and how to get good tax donation from it. So now I have the pleasure of introducing Benjamin Lebick, who has also become a good friend of mine, a member of the Faith United Methodist Church, but beyond that, just a great guy. And Benjamin, I sort of want to ask you, you're a member of the board of directors of Foundation for Orphans, along with your wife. You're the only couple that are on as a couple. You both contribute in many different ways. So tell us about why you're on the Foundation for Orphans.
I grew up in rural Ohio. We didn't have a lot. None of my friends had a lot, but we had enough. Everybody, we got to school, we had food, we had our lunches, we had roofs over our heads. None of us felt like we were missing things, but none of us were taking lavish vacations. If we took a vacation every other year or something, or maybe we'd get in the car and we'd drive and go camping someplace. But it was a great life. It was a wonderful place to grow up. But then I've traveled around the world quite a bit, multiple continents, many countries, and I've seen complete poverty. And I've seen children living on the streets. I've had mothers holding babies come up to me begging for money and food. And it's, it really hits you right in the heart. And you feel like you need to do something, but you look around and you see hundreds of people sometimes at one place, all of them begging for food, and they can't quite make it. They can't get it. And they're starving babies and malnourishment and all kinds of things like that. And in the United States, we have various programs. We have fostering, we have orphanages, we have church-based, we have community-based programs, food stamps for families. And I'm not going to argue the merits and or the abilities of those, but there is something here. And so it's very rare that you will see a 6-year-old sleeping under a bridge in the United States. It's very, very rare. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's very rare. But then you get to places like Mozambique, and you have children 1 year old. All their parents are dead. All their aunts and uncles are dead from AIDS. You see teenagers and everything in between. They have nowhere to go. They literally sleep on the ground. If it rains, they get wet. If they wake up, great. Sometimes they don't wake up. Terrible things happen. And this organization allows me to do something about that. We can make donations. We can go make a change to these children's lives. We're building homes for them, and we're giving them vocation. They can live in this home. They're given an education. They're given food. They're given shelter. They're given love, support, and a method to advance themselves and others. And when a person is able to get educated, get a job, become an active member of society, it helps society. And you have people who are just on the street, they're not helping society. They're not helping anybody. It's a terrible shame. And so I know my wife and I have thought about it a lot, and we try to find a way to help change the world, make it a better place. So when we feel like we've done something positive for the world, and this organization has given us that opportunity. So we joined it. We're excited to be members of it. We're very happy to be on the board and building homes. The home we just built in Machinga is right there. It's just marvelous to see it going. And now to get to the next one, we need to keep going, build more and more, bring more kids off the streets, and try to save the world one child at a time. That's why we're involved.
Thank you, thank you. So Benjamin's one of the people who gives through his company, through his work, and his company matches his donation, not one for one. I think they're matching 50%, but 50% is good. So many of you who have jobs, check with your jobs if you make a donation to the Foundation for Orphans. If you can make it through your corporation and they can match it, that's extra money for us. So just keep that in the back of your mind, as Benjamin has been doing for the past year plus. Our next segment is to tie in with Quinnipiac University. What's interesting is just about 5 miles down the road from here is a place called the Children's Center of Hamden. The Children's Center of Hamden is another organization we partner with. They deal with the orphans of the United States, kids who don't have parents who will care for them. And in some ways, these kids are worse off because their parents are alive and have abandoned them or are in jail or in a rehab center. The Children's Center of Hamden was established by professors at Yale University in conjunction with the United Methodist Church, the Methodist Church in New Haven. So here we have the opportunity to reach out to Quinnipiac, where I both teach, and of course my connection to the church. So watch this 2-minute video that Leanna made for us about the kids coming here to work on the Foundation for Orphans Conference and Retreat Center. Just delighted to have this video and first viewing of the Foundation for Orphans conference and retreat center here in Hamden, Connecticut. I purchased this piece of land. We purchased about 1.5 years ago. There's a log cabin, a barn, and a garage, and 12 acres of land. Today, thanks to the big event at Quinnipiac University, we were able to work on the trail some and to do a lot of work in the conversion of the garage into a conference room and the barn into a center. It's our goal that this will be a place where people can come. They can study, they can relax, think about nature, think about orphans, think about peace. We've got wood to split, we've got gardens to till. We want people to come and relax and be here, soak up nature, and think about what it will take to end the orphan pandemic around the world and what will build peace and justice. That's why we're here. And we'll continue to work and share information as we finish the center. We're going to have a bathroom in there, kitchenette. People can come and stay. They can camp, come for an hour, come for a day, come for a week. That's our goal. Grace, peace, mercy, and love. So this is our oldest son, Aaron, who just flew in today from Colorado. He got up there at 3 a.m. to make this flight, so he may fall asleep during this interview, but I think being on TV will give him some, it will give him some caffeine earlier. Just as an aside, the funds we're collecting today, 100% will be set aside for our next home for children, which will be in Monapo, Mozambique. I was able to go to Monapo in 2019. There's a great little United Methodist church there, and they're already caring for about 20 orphans, giving them meals and helping them out. The government has given the church a piece of land that is 2 hectares in size. That's about 5 acres. We had to send some money to do the legal fees for that. We had to send some money because some local people in that town were farming on that piece of property. We bought their crops so that when it becomes a home for children, they'll already have some vegetables and some fruit trees. And we had to send somebody to clear it and to mark it. But Monapo is a delightful community filled with loving people in this church, and a great need. There's about 500 orphans in Monapo. So all your money will go towards that project. So Aaron has been to Mozambique, so why don't you tell us some of your experience about living around the world and traveling and orphans and the Foundation for Orphans.
Well, first of all, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just very proud of the work you're doing. This house was kind of a wreck last time I was here, and the work you're doing here and around the world. Yeah, just touching so many lives. So we're all very proud of you for that, and glad to be here with you on Father's Day. So yeah, when I went to Mozambique, I had been living in Southeast Asia, and I was kind of feeling like it was something, to be honest, that I had to do, like kind of an obligation. I need to go and see the poverty and see the children that my dad has helped in the orphanages, and my brother Kanadu, who is living back there in medical school. And what I found when I got there was kind of the total opposite. It wasn't like a chore. It wasn't, I mean, there was poverty, and there were, you know, very hard things to see, and, you know, children who aren't taken care of. But going to the orphanage for me was just joy. You know, that's because of the work that Foundation for Orphans and other organizations have done. That these children had community, had people taking care of them, made their own bread, fed me when I was there. And I just remember running out in the field with the boys at the orphanage, them climbing up trees, getting coconuts, cutting them up for me, and just driving, you know, through the fields, and everywhere we went, just having people who were connected to you and to the Foundation for Orphans and your partners there, just kind of finding us all around the country. And yeah, by supporting F4O, it just really does make a difference, because being there at the orphanage, I just felt love and joy. And I know that's something those children didn't have before.
Good. So you've been here in Connecticut for about 8 hours. Kanadu called just about as this Cyberthon was about to get going. So Kanadu is the boy that we adopted back in 2002, who really struggled being in the United States, but now has graduated from medical school. So why don't you talk about your relationship with Kanadu and thoughts?
Yeah, so a quote just kind of came to me when we were doing this, that you can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed. So when we're reaching out and, planting seeds by helping children, by believing in them, you don't know how many apples that seed's going to generate when it grows into a tree. And so Kanadu, when he first came to the U.S., he went to the doctor and he was horrified, tried to run away because, he had had his leg amputated by a doctor. And, he was going into a new school system and just a whole totally different way of life. So it was very challenging at first for him. But, we took a chance on bringing him into our life, bringing him into our family. And, Kanadu is finishing medical school right now. With his experiences in the U.S. and, with his medical degree over there, he could change the course of his country forever. He could change thousands of lives. This is one example of an orphan that touched our family, and we were able to touch, who is going to impact and touch, thousands of lives in his country. By supporting and working with F4O, you really are, planting seeds by giving children a chance to be loved, be taken care of, have their basic needs taken care of. And by taking that chance, investing in that, you again don't know what payoff it could make, what change in the world it could make. So thank you for being a part of this and supporting F4O.
Thank you, Aaron. So I'm obsessed with this idea that we can end the orphan pandemic. There's 150 million orphans around the world. 16,500 children die every day around the world. So these seem like huge numbers. They are huge numbers. But there are enough resources among the Christians, Muslims, Jews, agnostics, and atheists to end the orphan pandemic. What we need is the willingness to make a difference. And so can we do this? I'm reminded of this friend of mine, Dr. Robert Appleby, who was a member of the Norwalk United Methodist Church when I was serving down there 30 years ago. Dr. Appleby was in charge of a nonprofit that was building low-income housing in Norwalk, Connecticut. And he told me that in the first 10 years of this nonprofit, they built 0 homes, 0 houses. He said it was very frustrating. There was years that they only met once or twice. They had board members who came, who quit. They had board members who died. And he said we kept trying to learn how to do this, how to get land, how to get funding, how to work with HUD, how to do zoning. He said finally after 10 years we built our first house. Yay, we celebrated, we had champagne. In the next 10 years they became the largest builder of homes in Norwalk, Connecticut, building 40 homes a year. So it took them a long time to get going, but once they got going, they flourished. So we're now working towards our 5th home for children in Mozambique. We're expanding into Tanzania and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Almost every week I get letters, emails from people around the world. I think they're desperate. They search the web. They find the Foundation for Orphans, my email address. They write me. I got an email just 2 days ago from a guy in Zambia. He's caring for 250 orphans. He's asking me to help him. We will help them if we have the resources. I'm obsessed with this idea that we can end the orphan pandemic. We're trying to light a fire here on this longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, a fire that was spread across denominational, interdenominational lines, across universities and churches and social clubs, service clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. Anybody who can help one child can change the world by helping that child. And will we be successful? Well, I have belief that we will. I have faith that we will. Some of you viewers may be skeptical or cynical. There's times I'm skeptical or cynical. But I think of this flight I flew once from DC into Nashville on a small airplane. Sat down again next to a woman I'd never met before, not the same woman I talked about earlier. And it was probably the worst flight I'd ever been on, bumping along and banging, never had any service from stewardesses, never able to take our seatbelts off, never able to go to the bathrooms. And this woman sitting next to me, she was nervous. She was white. I'm pretty white, but she was white to start with. And by the time we were flying, she was like, there's no color in her at all, just scared, grabbing a seat. And we had one of those bumps, the whole plane went up, and even my heart stopped. And she reached out, she grabbed my knee. She like grabbed it. I never met this woman before. She grabs my knee, and you know, circulation's about to stop. And I said to her, no plane has ever crashed from turbulence before. Well, I don't know if that's true. It seemed like the right thing to say, and it calmed her down for a minute, and you know, she released her grip on my leg. We landed. I had faith that plane was going to land. She did not. If you don't have faith, I'll help pull you through. And I hope you will pull me through when my faith wavers, right? I have this passion, I have this obsession to light this fire to end the orphan pandemic. I'll come to your university, I'll come to your church, I'll come to your social club. We will do this together. We are together, working together as brothers and sisters. I thank you for your time, and we do have a small group of people here. In case we've missed something, is there a question? Any of you have a question or thought that you want to share before we sign off on this first ever Father's Day Summer Solstice Cyberthon?
Wayne, how has the COVID pandemic affected your work, the work of the foundation?
Well, a quick answer. So how has the COVID affected our work? Quick answer is I haven't been able to go to Mozambique for the last year and a half. I canceled a trip last fall. The directors of our homes for children are all saying the children are missing me. They want me to come. They want to see me. I'm hoping to go this October, but not sure. But on a broader answer, we believe, and there's few statistics to document this yet, but we believe that the pandemic has increased the number of orphans around the world. The phrase is, when the United States economy suffers a cold, the rest of the world experiences a flu. And this pandemic caused a massive recession in our country for a while, which has created economic turbulence around the world. Mozambique has yet to be really hit harshly by COVID, and we hope and pray it doesn't get to Mozambique, because when it does, they don't have the medical facilities of our nation or the other developed nations. But they have been shut down. Their economy has been really hurt. Parents have died around the world, as we know. We think that there's been a spread of orphans and poverty that we'll be dealing with for decades to come. But I haven't been able to go. I'm hoping to go in October, be with the children again. I have been vaccinated. I think, believe, and hope that if I go, I'll be safe. I can't get the disease, and I can't give it to people. I think there's not clarity on that. I guess I can still give it to people, but we'll have a COVID test before we get on the airplane, when we land, to make sure the children there are safe and we don't give it to them. Any other questions or thoughts? Good thing we primed you guys to ask questions. Imagine if we hadn't said that. So it is 8:59. Without any more ado, we can end a minute early, or show you a video again. Any final stories? Anybody have a joke to share? It got dark on this longest day of the year. Let us let our light shine. We do it best by lighting a way for people in need. And we know this, that when we light a light for others, our own path is illuminated. Blessings, grace, and peace to you all. Good night.